Do you know the cost of NMR machine? It's nearly 2 to 3 crores. Due to high cost of this equipment, it is very difficult for the students to do experiment on NMR machine. But NMR spectroscopy is an important topic for competitive exams such as GPAT, CSIR-NET, etc. So this video will give you the basic information about NMR spectroscopy, and that will be useful for the students, those who are preparing especially for GPAT exam. Please watch this video till the end. If you have any doubts, please ask in the comment section below and don't forget to subscribe my channel. Okay, let's get started. NMR spectroscopy is a powerful analytical technique which gives complete details about organic molecule. As we know that organic molecule has carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. These are the basic elements. But all atoms are not NMR active. Only few atoms are giving NMR spectrum. Why? What is the reason? Let me explain with this image. All atoms are having nucleus in their center, which consists of protons and neutrons. Most of the time, these protons and neutrons are equal, but in isotopic atoms such as H1, C13, N15, F19, so these atoms which consist of protons which are not equal to neutrons. As we can see here, one additional proton which is present in the nucleus of these isotopic atoms will be providing a nuclear spin. Due to presence of nuclear spin, here the nucleus will be behaving as a tiny bar magnet which has a specific magnetic momentum. Now we are placing this tiny bar magnet in external magnetic field. Let's see what happens when we are placing this nucleus in external magnetic field. The magnetic momentum of this nucleus will be aligned or resonated with external magnetic field. This is called alpha state, which is a lower energy state. Now we are providing a radio frequency to this nucleus. So by this frequency here, the nucleus will be absorbing energy and reaching to the higher energy levels. Now this nucleus will be aligned completely opposite to the external magnetic field. This is called beta state. To get into the beta state, it requires more energy. So, but as we know that energy is directly proportional to frequency, that means more frequency is required the nucleus to get into the beta state. As we can see here in this graph, the peak will be getting at a higher frequency region. So this is called a downfield. Only d-shielded protons will be getting the peak at a downfield region. Okay, let's see what happens. So when we are placing a shielded protons, here the proton which is consisting of electronic shield around it. Now we are providing again the radio frequency, but this time it requires less energy to get into the beta state. So that is the reason here we can get the peak at a lower frequency region, that is called upfield region. Only shielded protons will be getting the peak at upfield region. What is the reason? So why we are getting peak at upfield region, that is lower frequency region? As we know that electronics shield which is present around this nucleus will be providing a local magnetic field, which is also called as induced magnetic field, along with external magnetic field. That means here we have two magnetic fields. One is local magnetic field, second one is external magnetic field. Due to presence of two magnetic fields, here we need to calculate effective magnetic field, which is equals to applied magnetic field minus local magnetic field. Here in this case, a local magnetic field will be increased. So due to that, here the effective magnetic field will be decreased. Due to less effective magnetic field, here it requires less energy to get the nucleus into the beta state. Here is the GPAT question on this concept. Transition metal in NMR spectroscopy is option A, ferromagnetic, option B, paramagnetic, option C, diamagnetic, option D, all of the above. Here, diamagnetic compounds which will be having electrons, a paired electrons, which are present in outer orbitals. But whereas in case of ferromagnetic and paramagnetic, here unpaired electrons are present in outer orbitals. If you come to transition metals, these transition metals are having unpaired electrons along with the nuclear spin. Let's say, for example, copper. Copper is the metal, so which is a transition metal, which consists of 4s2, 3d9. This is the electronic configuration. Here, in transition metals, electron which is present in 4s orbital will be jumping to 3d9 orbital. That is the reason here a unpaired electron which is present in 4s orbital region. So that is the reason here the transition metal will be giving a paramagnetic property. So that is the reason here the answer is B. The transition metals will be producing a paramagnetic property. Different compounds have different NMR signals. Let me explain with this example. Ethanol is the example here. Here, when we are placing this ethanol in low resolution NMR machine, here we can get three peaks. As we know that this is the structure of ethanol, which consists of three different types of protons. A type of proton, which is directly attaching with oxygen. Oxygen is electronegative atom. So due to presence of electronegativity, here the electrons will be pulled towards oxygen, and the electrons which are present around this proton will be completely de-shielded. So that is the reason. So A type of proton is called to be de-shielded proton. So that is the reason here we can get the peak at downfield region. And the second type of proton is B type of proton here, which is attached with first carbon. And due to close proximity, so here this B type of proton is also having slightly de-shielded, or we can also call it slightly shielded. So that is the reason here we can get the peak at slightly shielded region. The third type of proton is called C type of proton here, which is attached with second carbon of the compound. And due to more distance between electronegative atom and proton, so here these protons are completely shielded. So that is the reason here we can get the peak at upfield region. So here is the GPAT question on this NMR signal. How many peaks we can see in NMR spectrum of butanol? So this is the structure of butanol, which consists of 4 carbons and 1 hydroxy group. The same concept will be applied here. Here we can see the number of protons different which are having different environments. The first type of proton, HA proton, that is A type of proton, which is directly attaching with oxygen. So which is electronegative atom. That is why this A type of proton is completely de-shielded one. And B type of proton is a slightly de-shielded. And the C type of proton, which is very far from the electronegative atom. That is why here the C type of is completely shielded one. And D and E type of protons are also having different distance with oxygen. That is the reason here also we can get the two different type of signals. The finally we can get 5 different type of signals that we can get for butanol. Answer is 5. If you take the ethanol in a high resolution spectrum, so what happens? So here we can see the peak splittings, but we cannot see this peak splitting in low resolution spectrum. We can get in only in high resolution spectrum. So how can we calculate this peak splitting? So we have to follow n plus 1 rule. What is n here? So n is number of neighboring protons which are present in the compound. So this is the structure of ethanol, so which consists of A type of proton. And if you see this A type of proton, which doesn't have any neighboring protons, why? Because it is directly attaching with oxygen. So that is the reason here the N value will be 0. So N plus 1 equals to 1, and which gives a singlet. So A type of proton will be giving a singlet. And what about B type proton? Here the B type proton, which is having 3 neighboring protons attached. So that is the reason here the N value equals to 3, N plus 1 equals to 4, which gives quartet. And the C type of proton, which is having 2 neighboring protons. So N value equals to 2, N plus 1 equals to 3, which gives triplet. So here is the GPAT question on peak splitting. In NMR, if the atom contains 2 nearby protons, then these will produce. So here the N value equals to 2. Why? Because here we have 2 nearby protons. So that is the reason N equals to 2, N plus 1 equals to 3, which gives triplet. So answer is B. And the next topic is chemical shift, which is very important topic. So definitely we'll get the question from this topic. So what is chemical shift? The chemical shift will be giving the exact values, the position of the signal, which is related to the reference values. So what is the use of this chemical shift value? So chemical shift value will be useful for identification of functional groups. So these are the different functional groups, so which will be identified by these chemical shift values. Here the chemical shift values will start from 0 and ends with 14. So chemical shift value will be denoted by delta, and which will be measured by ppm values, and different functional groups will be having at different positions of chemical shift values. If you take for example saturated compounds will be having the chemical shift values of in between 1 to 2 delta values. And this is the TMS tetramethylsilane, which is a reference compound which gives 0 chemical shift value. And here important thing is, so we need to identify which one is upfield and which one is downfield. So here these functional groups will be producing peaks at upfield region, and these functional groups which will be producing peaks at downfield region. So we have already discussed about this upfield and downfield region. Here is the question on chemical shift values. Which of the following has the highest chemical shift value? Option A, methyl iodide. Option B, methyl bromide. Option C, methyl fluoride. Option D, methyl chloride. If you see the methyl compound, so which consists of a shielded proton, so 3 protons are present which are attached with carbon. A shielded protons are present. But when we are adding electronegative atom to that compound, due to presence of electronegativity, here the electrons will be pulled towards this electronegative atom. So that is the reason here the shielded protons are becoming de-shielded. So this is called a chemical shift. Now we are getting the peak at de-shielded region. So but here we have a different halide ions, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, and in which one is producing highest chemical shift value. Here fluorine will be giving highest chemical shift value. Why? Because here the fluorine is having higher electronegativity, and iodine is giving lowest chemical value due to presence of low electronegativity. So that is the reason here the answer will be C. Methyl fluoride will be the answer, so which is providing highest chemical shift values due to presence of high electronegativity. So this is about NMR spectroscopy. Thank you.